taking over here. Thank you very much for being here this evening for our healthcare and insurance in Portugal. These are very popular sessions with Nuno Mendes from Winsurance. Astrid, is there anything you want to say before we get underway? I think a wonderful time was had in Porto, was it not, last weekend?
We did have a great time in Porto, so I'm not too sure whether anyone here was able to make it in person, but it was a lot of, Nuno was there, of course, and Jerry and myself. It was a lot of fun. And yes, so watch this space for our next one. Jerry, where are we doing the next one?
Well, I was trying to keep it a secret, Astrid. I was trying to tease people with the idea. And someone I know went on the Good Morning Portugal show and blabbed it to everyone.
We have ways of getting information out of people. Sources close to Expats Portugal said. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so it's out of the bag now. So it's Battaglia.
Okay. Excellent. Wonderful historic place and centrally placed as well, which is rather good, isn't it? A very good location, fabulous place, and historic and charming.
So I'm wondering where everyone is, Carl. I can only see one page of people, but it says we've got 21 people here. I'm not too sure where they are. We've got 45 coming, so there must be some late people coming, but I don't.
They're at the front door. They're at the front door giving out chocolates.
Oh, okay.
Powder douche, of course, Portuguese children this evening. So let us know if you're here already and how you're doing. And Diwali, of course, as well. Thank you, Farouk. By the way, it's Diwali as well. Occasion for additional sweet stuff. Yes. No, there's no reason not to be eating sugar this evening, it would seem, around the world. Right. We're looking at making informed decisions about your health and insurance here in Portugal. Understanding the healthcare and insurance landscape is crucial, of course, whether you're planning to move to Portugal or you're already living here, as we can see from our guest list this evening, people moving here and people already here who may want to contribute as well a little bit later on. I know there was some talk of Medicare last week, and there may be some additional information from our own community to share on that a little bit later on. These systems, especially in a different language, are challenging, can be challenging. So ensuring you fully understand your insurance policies is essential. And that's why we love working with Nuno, because he's very happy to do that with you. Language barrier can sometimes make it harder to grasp the details of coverage, costs and conditions, the 3 C's there. So tonight we'll look at healthcare and insurance, planning ahead, if you're not already here. Key statistics around age, disease trends and healthcare costs, comparing statistics with actual healthcare needs, important factors often overlooked in health insurance quotes, and Nuno will help us out with that as well. And some of his team are here this evening as well, who will be helping behind the scenes. International versus local health insurance, what you need to know about that. Navigating public and private healthcare systems, the all-important hybrid of the two. And last but not least, understanding concierge healthcare services. So let's find out more about that. And I dare say many other things will come into the conversation this evening. Nuno, thank you very much for being here. Over to you.
Thank you so much to everyone that is here, also to Expats Portugal. I'm going to do, I hope, a quick presentation, just a quick overview, better, and then leaving some tricky points, because it's the night of the tricky and something trick, right? So tricky points to go deep on, okay? So I'm going to share my screen, okay?
I'm sure it's one of your fabulous immersive presentations, Nuno, this evening, as usual.
No, I will be working. I will be behind the scenes today. Okay. Can you please confirm if you are looking?
Yep. All good. Can see that.
Okay.
And can see you.
Okay.
As well, which is great.
Okay. So the 3 points that we are going to talk about, it's healthcare systems, to go deep, and misunderstandings. Regarding what is? Oh, sorry. Okay, it's here. It's not working. So healthcare systems. We have the public and the private. I'm not going to go deep on them because we talked a lot about them. But if you have any specific question, please tell me. So public or private. Advantages of the public. So it's free for everyone who has an SNS number, so the Portuguese number of the Portuguese NHR. It has good territorial coverage. It covers all the country. It has good medical service, but not the best customer experience. And what I want to say with this is too long waiting times. For surgeries, we could stay on a shared room with 12 people or more, sharing the same bedroom, so the same bathroom. So not the best customer experience, okay? It's the network used for emergencies. So every time that we call the 112, this is the emergency number to Europe, Portugal, as well as to Europe, is similar to the 911 of US. It's consistently under budget every year. The public system is every year under budget, and this is creating a huge debt. There are too long waiting lists on this system, and it can be difficult to access on time when we need. And it has been consistently losing some doctors and nurses to the private system. And this is why the public system is getting worse and worse, even though that the investment that the Portuguese state is doing on the public system is growing. Okay, so it reached 13.5% in 2023 upon the overall budget of the country. So I think that this is a good information, because it assures us that even though that the system has lack of coverage, the Portuguese state is aware of the need of invest and reinvest on this system. Okay. So private, why private? It has good availability. It has good professionals. Actually, some professionals work on both of the systems, private and public. It provides a completely different customer experience. So having a surgery on the private system, I should say that is a similar experience as being in an hotel, but don't set a room on a hospital instead of a hotel if you can. So it has a good territorial coverage. And one point is that aging means claims and means a costly insurance policy. Okay. Now, the point is about do I need or I want a local insurance policy? So an insurance policy of one of the insurers in Portugal, or one insurance policy from an international provider like Cigna or ING or Bupa. So it's a difference of being located, of getting the coverage only in Portugal or around the world. But what are the advantages of an international policy? So when we are focused on having healthcare through the top of the top, the cream of the cream of doctors and facilities, yes, this is what the international insurance policy provides. It access to worldwide organ banks, and in Portugal, organs are managed or controlled by the public system, even though that occasionally the private also could do surgeries if the organs are available. Access to the high-end treatments. The limits are much higher, could be millions and millions of euros, dollars, or pounds. You choose the currency, actually. It is really a 24/7/30, 60, 65-day service, because they have worldwide service. They have offices spread around the world, that one of them is always on and always providing service. And yes, these insurance policies are more expensive rather than the local ones. But it's a question of managing risk. Okay, do I need a private insurance policy, or do I want or not? And if so, do I want a local or an international one? It depends also if you travel a lot or not. Okay. So some facts to help us on our decisions. So this is information about Portugal. The national cost per citizen in Portugal is 2,500 euros on average. Also, we know that 1% of the Portuguese citizens, so everyone that is living in Portugal, represents 30% of the total cost of the public system, and that 50% of the population means 90% of the costs. Also, there are some differences between the urban centers costs and the rural or countryside ones. And this means that people with less opportunities, or that cannot afford for healthcare, has less healthcare. About the public expenses, how much these represent on the national budget. So 30% of the cost dedicated to healthcare is to healthcare, sorry, and 2/3 of the healthcare provided in Portugal is on the public system. This means that 1/3 is private, so insurance policies. Other fact is that with innovation, and we are assisting every year to new improvements on exams, medicines, treatments. Also, the robotic usage is being more and more used at hospitals. And this means a better healthcare, but also more expensive healthcare. One other big point to take into consideration, and we'll revisit later on this point, is life expectancy and aging. So yes, life expectancy is growing, but the big point here is aging health. This means that we should have access to the best healthcare, no matter if it's public or private. Now, talking about insurance policies, we know that on the majority of the situations, customer look to the insurance premium and to the limits, and not much more than these, and also coverages. But usually the customer don't look to the exclusions. And there are plenty of exclusions in all of the insurance policies. And now I'm talking about the local, so the Portuguese insurers, but also on international. When I say exclusions, there are some that are legal, that are mandatory, but the key point here is about disease that are excluded in all of the insurers. The only exception in the Portuguese market is MGN, that doesn't exclude any kind of disease. Also, we focused on the network, but sometimes there are more and more exams that are not included on any of the networks, no matter if it's Medis, Advanced Care, Allianz, you mentioned. And this means that we need to pay them from our pocket. Exams are considered outpatient, ambulatory in Portuguese. It's considered an outpatient coverage, and usually this coverage has a low limit, like 500 euros or 2,000 euros. There are some exams that are very expensive, and when I say very expensive, could be 2,500 euros. Okay, so give a look to the outpatient ambulatory coverage limit. Also, when the customer is comparing plans, look to the copays, but don't realize that on some of the top plans of some insurers, they don't have copays either on inpatient or outpatient coverages, as long as they are part of the healthcare network. Also, the top plans have a higher reimbursement percentage to the situations that are considered out of the healthcare network. So this is other point in that beneficiates the top plans of usually of any insurer. One tricky point is that with the exception of MGN, we are revisiting MGN several times because it is really different from all other insurers. And we work with Winsurance, we work with all of the main insurers, okay? But MGN is the only Portuguese insurer that cannot drop you out from the insurance policy or rise your premium individually due to the claims you made. All others can drop you, and they drop you, or can raise the insurance premiums individually. So take these points into consideration. Talk with the professional that could clarify you all of these details. Revisiting misconceptions. Waiting period. Many times people approach us thinking that within the waiting period there are no coverage. This is not true. We are covered within the waiting period on the healthcare network and at a higher cost rather than after the waiting period. Okay, but we are covered. One other misconception is that it's difficult to find a doctor. This is something that any of us can do by ourselves. It's very easy. Winsurance, we help you on navigating on the system and how to find a doctor. Okay? English speaking, with our experience, I don't feel that this is a tricky point. So usually it's really easy to find a doctor that is English speaking because almost all of them are fluent English speaking. Concierge services. The concierge service would help you on navigating on the system. But as I said previously, a lot of the work that they do, you can do it by yourself, like find a doctor, because there is no way that someone knows all the doctor in Portugal, no matter where they are located. So the best suggestion is that you can do this by yourself. Also, when we access to a private hospital, if we need a specialist, they will recommend us 1, 2, or 3 specialists, and then we choose and we pick one, and we'll be using the same hospital every time. Other misconception is that we need to use the public or the private. Actually, we can use both systems at a time, depending what is the situation. So we can have, and we have the private insurance policy, and we can also be assisted on the public system. So this is really a big point, because we heard this every week from several customers, that is, I'm healthy. I was healthy. I have been healthy all of my life. So this is a bit like interest rates, that past records don't assure future records or results. What we know is that 50% of the claims, the cost with claims, are from people from 0 till 65 years old, and the remaining 50% from people between 66 and 81, and I say 81, considering that this is the life expectancy age in Portugal. Now, what we can do for you, how we can leverage your experience and assisting you on navigating on the private system. So Winsurance is the first broker of MJN. We work with MJN building the initial wording, the full terms, and we are permanently in contact with them and doing some upgrades and feedback. So this is something that we are proud of. Also, you can do a quote by yourself on MJN's portal and request the similar quote, and you realize that we are more affordable rather than directly with MJN, because MJN knows that we will be assisting you, avoiding them a lot of trouble, loss of time, and so on. So we have also this advantage. We have a comprehensive insurance portfolio, no matter if it's health, life, property, professional lines. We have an English-speaking team. Unfortunately, we are not working from 9 to 5. We work a bit more than this, like in this moment. And we provide you an omni-channel that you can contact us through different channels. With all the humbleness, I believe that this is a word in English, we have a very good reputation on the insurance market. Usually, we do the extra mile, and yes, I got this information today from the Trustpilot, and we have a score of 4.9. Actually, this is a result of all of the team, which I want to formally recognize. Some of them are here. So thank you so much to all of them for all the effort and the extra mile that they do. And to the end, yeah, just a happy Halloween Eve to everyone.
Very good. Thank you, Nuno. Yeah, hopefully no pumpkin carving injuries or anything like that need attention. and thank you for that translation of extra mile, because obviously in Portugal that's going to be a kilometer extra rather than an extra mile. So thank you for the American and English translation there. Much appreciated. And do you want to introduce your team, some of your team who are here this evening? Be lovely. You acknowledge them, but it'd be lovely to say hi.
So I think that we have here 3 persons. Ruth, I'm linking to Ruth. I'm looking to Amelia. I'm not looking to Sandra, but I believe that Sandra could be also there. I'm not seeing
Sandra is here as well. Yeah, definitely. Hi, Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they are the one that do all the work. Okay. So all the 4.9 score that we have on Trustpilot is because of them, not because of me.
Yes,
They are the one who assists
use the
you
word
all the
humble.
time.
You are perhaps overly humble. I think you can all share that wonderful rating there. And interesting that you're not really bothered about it. You just went and had a look today because you were doing a presentation tonight. It's not obviously not a
Yes.
preoccupation of yours, which is
No. Maybe 2 months ago when I did the last presentation, I checked and it was
really
4.9. But I want to have an updated one. I did the same.
very
4.9.
good.
So
Nuno and the team are definitely not sitting on that and watching it. They just let the results speak for themselves. And I'm sure there'll be people here tonight who have very, I mean, me personally, very good words to say about my experience with insurance. Great health policy. Yes, for transparency purposes, I have a great health policy through you and motoring as well. And delighted to have done so with a lot of help when I've needed it, and no other hassle when you don't need it. So thank you very much. While I have the opportunity to thank you personally this evening, as others might want to do as well in the chat. If you do have any questions, please raise them now. We'll leave the recording going a little bit longer in the live streaming to YouTube just to see if we have any questions from over there, and then we'll have a more private session. If there are things you want to talk about of a more personal nature in a smaller audience, we can do that as well this evening. And of course, the Dream Team in nearly an hour's time, just over an hour from now. We do have, and parabéns from James, star of last week's webinar, which was absolutely brilliant, the retirement special, where we had 9 people on the screen talking very positively about Portugal. Really enjoyed that, and that's up on YouTube. But James was one of them from Estoril. Parabéns on the high ratings. So congratulations to you from James there. I had private healthcare, but now go to my Centre de Saúde and use my prescription, says Tamara, with the private system. I do it all by myself and have super healthcare. You must research and figure it out. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? But would you tell us more about the benefits, if you will, and underline the benefits of having a hybrid of private and public? Because that's a really important issue, I think.
Yes. So regarding medicines that require the prescription, you can get the prescription from a doctor from the private or the public system. The big difference is that you could wait 4 or 6 months for a doctor appointment availability on the public system, and on the private, you will get for sure on the same day.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it's a minor issue like a flu, and you know what you will take, but you need a prescription, you cannot wait 4 months to get this prescription. So this is, and also is the medicine that 2/3 of the medicines in Portugal are funded or sponsored by the Portuguese state, and it makes no difference at all if you get a prescription from a private doctor or a public doctor. You will get the same benefit.
Okay, good to know. Anything else you want to say about that? The pros and cons of private and public there, Nuno?
Well, besides the availability of the public system, which is something that on some medical specialties, hospitals have 2 years of waiting time.
Right.
And this is too long. Okay. So this can make a huge difference. And there are some people that start being followed on the private and then passed to the public for some reason, and the reverse. Sometimes the public, because they are lacking of availability, they are the one who recommends the person to go to the private. And some doctors on the public that has no agenda to receive us, they are the one who say frequently, look, you can have an appointment with me. I have a clinic, private office. You can go through the private. Okay. The difference is that you can pay the full amount, or if you have an insurance, you will do the copay. So this is not a situation of private or public.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Yes, and of course, relatively speaking, a great public health system. And if you are a foreigner, I think well worth, speaking personally, well worth the investment in private healthcare, because it's not the same. If you're thinking of American, I mean, I don't think you've made a big mention of this, but the differences in premiums comparing Portugal to the United States, people are often very shocked by the difference. And when they hear how they can get private healthcare here in Portugal, they just leap at the chance, because it's great value and it's extra peace of mind to complement the public system. We've got a couple of questions here over on Zoom. Thank you, Mark. You might want to unmute and ask this yourself, or ask extra questions when we go to the private session in just a moment for Expats Portugal Premium members. Can you talk a bit about the rules of joining insurance policies based on age? Are there limits, rates by age group, etc.? And Denise was adding to that as well. Denise, good evening to you. Age limits on the various private systems. What are the limitations then when it comes to age?
Okay, so over 64, 65 years old, basically you will get a not so good insurance policy. Okay,
right, but you will get one. You will get one.
But through MGN, they, not with all the brokers, but they fully insure people over 65. Okay.
Yeah.
We are allowed to do that.
Right, very good. And I don't know if I mean, it's difficult to say without personal details, but are we able to get an idea of cost of private insurance from a Portuguese insurer? Also, what are costs for individuals above age 65? I think you've just addressed that, but I don't know. Maybe somebody from our community here might want to speak. They may not, but you might want to say what sort of value and payments you make monthly to give those other members an idea. Do you want to say anything about that, Nuno?
Look, it depends on the plan. So coverage limits.
Yeah.
It depends on the plan, and it depends on age.
Yeah.
So please send us an email to imsafe@winsurance.pt, and with the birth date, and we'll provide you a quote.
There you go. Easy as that. And the
Very
details are on the screen there, as well as the WhatsApp number. Multi-channel communication, as you said before there. One I missed before, sorry, Clint. For private healthcare coverage, is individual underwriting required? I'm not sure what that means, but it's personal rather than just off the shelf. Is that what the distinction there is? Individual underwriting. I mean, it's got to be a personal policy, hasn't it? You do need to know personal details of people.
Are you talking about medical questionnaire?
I think so. Well, maybe Clint will unmute later when we stop streaming.
Okay,
we'll come back here. Okay. Sorry, go on.
I can reply to that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
all of the, with the exception of MGN, once again, all of the insurance request a medical questionnaire, because if the person has some medical issues, they will exclude these issues, the disease or the pre-existing conditions. Okay.
Okay, there you go, Clint. All right, thank you very much. Yes, that helps, Clint. There, that's good to know. Okay, well, stick around, everybody, because we will have a more intimate setting where you can ask other questions if you want to, if you don't want them broadcast over on YouTube. So I will stop that stream to YouTube now. Don't forget, though, YouTubers, we'll see you again at 9 for the Dream Team session, where Nuno might actually be back then. It's the sort of thing he does, not only here for a webinar, but joins us again at 9. Before we go, though, and stop that stream, thanks, Nuno, for that. Absolutely brilliant. Ruta and Amelia and Sandra as well, thank you for being here tonight. Much appreciated. And just one more thing there. I mean, this is about health insurance and the healthcare system. But on your screen there, you've got insurance of any kind, which is worth mentioning to people that you do other kinds of insurance. I'm not sure what E&O and D&O is, Nuno. Forgive me.
Okay, our professional lines, and these are international names. So E&O, it's errors and omissions. It's a professional liability.
Yeah.
D&O, it's directors and officers liability.
Okay, wow. All right, so you do anything. Errors and omissions is a very old-fashioned phrase, isn't it? That used to be on invoices, I think, back in the day. So yes, traditional insurance as well as health, life, property, and travel from Nuno. And of course, the insurances that you need for the D7 process as well. You need to speak to Winsurance about those. So let's just halt the recording over there on YouTube. Thank you for the time being, YouTube. See you in